How you feeling about Tesla? You driving any Teslas out there?
I love Tesla. You know, look, I keep thinking about that unbelievable scoop that you got, of which with Larry Fink, I think it's going to be the most important thing we talk about for I don't know how long, certainly not just today. And I keep thinking, well, isn't Tesla an electric vehicle? Isn't that the kind of thing that if you're wanting to be in Larry Fink's dictum, you would sell GM and Ford, which aren't doing enough, versus Tesla, even though they're trying? But Tesla is the ultimate Larry Fink stock. And Larry seemed very emotional at a certain moment. Is that just my imagination, or was he really choked up at one point, Andrew?
I think he's emotional about it, but I do think he insisted, and I believe him, that this was something that took, in terms of making this decision, was a 12-month process. He was writing this letter. It changed a lot, and I think it really was much more about, frankly, the clients, the science, and what he thinks is about to happen in terms of a huge rotation in the market. Now, that rotation, by the way, may take 5 years, may take a decade, may take longer,
50.
But I think he's trying to get ahead of it. And,
Jim, we just had Ralph Nader say that it's Jamie Dimon's fault because J.P. Morgan still invests in fossil fuel companies. Do you think we need to divest?
No. Look, I think they have to be. We had Mike Wirth on last week from Chevron. I think Mike is saying, listen, we're totally cognizant of what we have to do, and we are doing our best. I had Parsley Energy on Friday. They are convinced that there's a lot more that every oil company can do. So I just think it's just being a better citizen. I don't think it's fossil fuels, as Mike Wirth said, 30, 40 years, you're going to be in fossil fuels, so you don't want to write it off. Right. I just think the price-earnings multiple's going down. Remember, when oil was at $26, these stocks were substantially higher than they are now. So Jim, it's something to think about. I think the millennial managers don't want to own it.
The other piece of this that, we talk about it in the context of fossil fuel companies and energy companies. I think this is going to be hitting companies across the board. I think we're going to see lots of conversations about companies trying to get to carbon neutral. Obviously, we've seen Amazon and others talk about that idea, sometimes even trying to get to carbon negative. But that's going to come at a cost.
Well, I don't know. Clorox, Ben O'Doer, if you want more compensation, if you work at Clorox, you have to come up with sustainable ideas. And he is rewarding managers who do, and he is not rewarding those who don't. So I think it's entirely possible that if you're clever enough, you can do both. And remember, the earth is a stakeholder, as we learned from Mark Benioff. You have to be thinking about that at all times. Is Larry Fink just catching up with what others are doing? No. I think he's going to set a standard. But I do not think in the end that it's going to matter if you miss by a few pennies if you are protecting the earth. I really believe that.